"That's extremely nice of you," he said, "but I have to think of Scorpion."
"Leave Scorpion to Peter Holmes. Come and spend a little time at Harkaway with us. It's cold and it rains a lot. Come and try it. After a few days here, you'll need a change. You'll soon be back in your submarine."
He laughed. "I think I can do that," he said. When they met, she noticed a difference in him. His face was yellow, and he seemed sad.
"You're ill,"
she said. "Have a drink," he said. "I'm all right."
"Have you seen a doctor?"
"We have no doctor right now."
"You've got a fever, haven't you? And you're the commander of all US forces. I'll have to telephone home. You can't walk home from the station with a fever. You may die, and then I'll be in trouble for killing an important naval officer."
Telephone and spoke to her mother about Dwight's health.
"I think he's quite ill," she said. "He's very tired, too. He'll have to go to bed when we get home. Can you light a fire in his room? And ask Dr. Fletcher if he can come this evening. Dwight hasn't seen a doctor at all since he got back. He's an important person now, too. Tell the doctor that."
She went back to Dwight.
"Come along," she said. "We have to catch a train."
2 hours later, he was in a warm bed, and the doctor arrived. "I'm sorry, Doctor," Dwight said. "I'm not ill at all."
"I understand you've been in some radioactive places,"
the doctor said. "Yes, but we never went outside into the radiation."
"You were in the submarine all the time?"
"All the time. It isn't radiation sickness, Doctor."
"Have you been sick?"
"Not at all."
"You must stay in bed for a bit," said the doctor. "How long were you at sea?"
53 days.
"And how long below the surface?"
"More than half of it."
"Are you very tired?"
The captain thought for a moment. "Perhaps I am," he said.
"It's nothing to worry about, but I'll come again in 2 days' time. Stay in bed for now, and when you get up, you should not go back to work immediately. Can you take a rest?"
"I'll have to think about it." The doctor left, and Moira came in. She took his empty glass from the table near the bed.
"Will you have another hot drink?" she said.
He shook his head.
"Anything to eat?"
He shook his head again, and she went out. On the next day, Peter Holmes had lunch with John Osborne.
"I telephoned the ship this morning," the scientist said. "I wanted to speak to Dwight about the report. They told me that he's staying at Harkaway."
Peter nodded. "He's ill," he said. "Moira telephoned me last night. She told me that he wasn't coming back for a week." The scientist was anxious when he heard that.
"I can't wait a week," he said. "I'm a bit worried. Jorgensen has heard of our results. He says we haven't done our job."
"See the report before it goes out," said Peter. "Why don't you telephone Moira? Then you can take it to him at Harkaway."
"Will she be there? Isn't she on a secretarial course in Melbourne?"
"Oh, she's at Harkaway. I don't know about the secretarial course." The scientist began to look happier.
"I could take it this afternoon in the Ferrari," he said.
"How much fuel have you got? You mustn't use the car a lot. There's a good train, isn't there?"
"This is naval business," said John Osborne. "The report is on an important subject."
He bent towards Peter and spoke quietly.
"You remember that aircraft carrier, Sydney? She has a lot of fuel on board for the aircraft."
"You mustn't touch that," cried Peter in surprise.
"Why not? This is naval business."
"Well, don't tell me about it. How fast does that car of yours go?"
"Over 160 kilometers an hour."
That afternoon, the scientist got the car out, and Peter Holmes helped him. "Please be careful. Don't kill anybody," Peter said.
"They're all going to die in 2 months,"
said the scientist. A number of people came to push the car and started it. It rushed away in a cloud of smoke. It had no lights, and John Osborne was a bit worried about hitting a child playing in the empty streets. But everybody could hear it. Streetcars were the only other traffic. He drove the car at 110 kilometers an hour. He reached Harkaway in 23 minutes. When he got out, the farmer and his wife and daughter came out of the house.
"I've come to see Dwight Towers,"
Osborne said.
"They told me he was here."
"He's trying to get some sleep," said Moira angrily. "Why must you make a noise like that? That's a terrible car, John. How fast can she go?"
"Over 160 kilometers an hour. I want Dwight to see this report." "Oh, well, he's probably not sleeping now."
She led the way to Dwight's bedroom. He was sitting up in bed. "I guessed it was you," he said. "Have you killed anybody yet?"
"Not yet,"
said the scientist. He gave the report to Dwight, who began to read it. He made a few changes to the report. "Okay, John, you can send it now." "Can I see the Ferrari from this window?" Dwight asked.
"Yes, it's just outside."
The captain got out of bed and stood at the window. "What's going to happen to it?" he asked.
"I'll drive it at the races. There isn't much time now, but the races have started early."
"I've never raced," said the captain. "What do you feel when you're racing?"
"Fear. Then, when it's finished, you want to do it again."
He paused.
"If I'm killed in the Ferrari, I don't mind. It's better than the radiation sickness. I prefer to be killed in the car. And you? Will you be taking Scorpion out to sea again?"
"I've got no orders. I'm planning to keep her under Australian command to the end. Most of the men have girls in Melbourne."
"You should have a rest," the scientist said. "You should travel a bit in Australia."
"Is there any fishing?"
"Yes, in some of the little rivers."
"I like fishing," said Dwight. Time was passing, and the car had no lights, so John Osborne picked up his papers and said goodbye. On the way to the door, he met Moira.
"How is he?"
she said.
"What do you think?"
"Oh, he's all right.
Just a bit crazy. He wants to do some fishing before we all go home."
She watched him as he got into the small seat of the car. Then he drove noisily away. Soon after the middle of winter, things felt better. At the beginning of July, few people were doing any work. Broken Hill and Perth were dead. The electricity was still on. As the weeks passed, people drank less and less. Then motor cars began to appear on the roads. Nobody cared about money anymore. If you wanted food, you took it from the shops. If you couldn't find any, you went to another place. There was plenty of time, because there was no work to do. The Australian Grand Prix was early that year. It was fixed for the 17th of August at Tooradin, but a lot of drivers wanted a race, so some earlier races were held to choose the fastest cars. Drove to one of these early races and took Moira and Peter and Mary Holmes. The field was wet with rain. Soon, one of the drivers was killed in an accident. The driver of another car also had some broken bones. A girl was killed when her car ran into the lake. There were other accidents too. John Osborne's Ferrari was then pushed into place.
"This is the end of my life,"
he thought as he got in.
"But it's better than dying from radiation sickness."
He made a good start and went round the lake bend fast. He was behind two bigger cars, and another car, a Gypsy Lotus, drove past him. Its driver, Sam Bailey, was going at a crazy speed. The car was not running straight. It was moving this way and that. He did not like being near it. Then some cars behind him crashed into each other, and he saw one flying through the air. Osborne was travelling behind a Jaguar. Then a Bugatti was hit by a Bentley, which was pushed into the path of the Jaguar. The Jaguar turned over twice, and the driver was thrown from the car. John Osborne had no time to stop. His Ferrari hit the Bugatti at over 100 kilometers an hour. Osborne was shaken but unhurt, but the driver of the Jaguar was dying in the long grass. The Bentley had run over him. The scientist waited for a moment, but he saw several people near the dying man, so he started his Ferrari again. The wheels turned slowly, but one of them made a terrible noise as it touched the body of the car. He was out of the Grand Prix. He waited for the Gypsy Lotus to come round again, and then he got out. He started to walk to the dying driver, and the Gypsy Lotus went past at high speed. He did not notice any other cars, and he stopped to think. If there was only one car still in the race, he started the car again and moved slowly round the field. When he reached his men, they changed the bent wheel in 30 seconds. He started again, but a damaged Bugatti was also back in the race. He soon saw that the Bugatti was moving very slowly. He managed to take second place in the race. He stopped the Ferrari in a field, and his friends ran over to share his success. He was not allowed to race in the Grand Prix, but 3 of the 11 drivers in this race had been killed. He now had to take his car to Melbourne, because there was something wrong with it. It tried to turn to the left all the time. Something was broken, and he needed to take it to a garage. Sam Bailey was standing near his Gypsy Lotus, and he went to talk to him. They had a drink together, and Sam showed Osborne a vehicle which had brought the Jaguar to the race. "They won't need that now," said Sam. "Take it. It'll carry your Ferrari to Melbourne. But be quick. Someone else may have the same idea.
Osborne and his men put the Ferrari on the vehicle and tied it on. Then he went to look at the Jaguar. He found the driver's wife there, and he spoke to her. "I was the driver of the Ferrari," he said. "I'm very sorry this has happened, Mrs. Harrison." "You hit them at the end of the accident," she said. "It wasn't your fault. Don't worry. He won't have to be sick for hours like the rest of us. Say, what do you want? His car?" "No," he said. "I want to carry my car away on his vehicle for repairs. I want to drive it in the Grand Prix, and one of the wheels is bent." "You just take it, friend," she said. He was a bit surprised. "Where shall I return it?" he asked. "I won't use it. You take it." He thought about money. He should pay for the use of the vehicle, but the time for money had gone. "You're very kind," he said. "Thanks." "That's all right," she said. "Go and win the Grand Prix." "How will you get back to Melbourne?" "Oh, I'll come when they bring Don." Chapter 8. Last Pleasures. On the first day of August, the radio said there was more sickness. It had now reached Adelaide and Sydney. It did not trouble Mary Holmes particularly. All news was bad, and a sensible person did not think about it. It was a beautiful day. That was the important thing. Only one thing troubled her. Jennifer was getting her first tooth. She cried a lot, and Mary was rather anxious. She spoke to Peter about it. "Should we get a doctor, Peter?" she asked. "Oh, she's all right. She isn't ill." Jennifer cried all night, and Mary got out of bed to look after her. Peter hated all this. It often happened. "I have to go to the Navy Department, dear," Peter said. "I have to be at the 3rd Naval Member's office at 11:45. "Please go to the doctor and tell him about Jennifer. She's crying too much. There must be something wrong." "Don't worry him. The book says she may be ill for 2 days. "Well, she's been crying now for 36 hours. "By God, she has," he thought. "It might not be teeth," Mary said. "It might be something different." "Leave it until I get back," he said. "I'll be back here at 4 or 5 o'clock. "All right," she said slowly. He went out and got into his car. Saving petrol was useless now. He was glad to leave the house. There was nobody in the 3rd Naval Member's office except a girl, so he went out and drove to Williamstown. He went on board the aircraft carrier. "I want some petrol," he said to the officer of the day, "and I want to see Commander Towers." "The commander's down in Scorpion, sir," was the reply. He walked through the cold, empty ship and down to the submarine. He met Dwight Towers as soon as he was on board. "I came for some petrol, sir," he said. "Is there any work to do?" "Plenty of petrol," said the American, "but nothing to do. There won't be anything to do ever again. Have you any news for me?" Peter shook his head. "I went to the Navy Department just now, but nobody was there, except a secretary." They discussed the radiation and the car race.
Are you going back to Melbourne now? Dwight asked. I was thinking of doing that. If you don't want me, sir. I don't. There's nothing here. I'll ride into town with you if I may. If you can wait 10 minutes, I'll change this uniform. 40 minutes later, they were talking to John Osborne in his garage. He was still working on the Ferrari. When's the Grand Prix? Dwight asked.
They want to have it in 2 weeks, but I think that's too late. I think we should race on the 10th. That's a week on Saturday. There's radiation sickness in Canberra now. It's coming close. There's even one man ill in Albury.
In Albury? That's only about 300 kilometers north.
I know. So their date for the race is too late.
How long have we got, John? Peter asked. The scientist looked serious.
I've got it now. You've got it. We've all got it. This equipment, this door, everything has been touched by radioactive dust. The air, the water, the food, everything is getting radioactive. Some people are stronger than others, but we'll all be dead in the end. Those men want to wait nearly 2 weeks before they hold the Grand Prix. They're crazy. There's a meeting this afternoon, and I'm going to tell them so. How can a driver drive if he's sick?
You're probably right, said Dwight. He left them in the garage. He was going to have lunch with Moira Davidson. John and Peter left too, and went to have lunch together at the club. How's your uncle? Peter asked.
He has drunk quite a lot of the bottles, said the scientist. Of course, he's worse than he was, but now he can go to the club in his car. That helps.
Where does he get his petrol?
From the army, I think. He drinks a lot. He may live longer than some of us. If you get drunk, you last longer.
They reached the club and went inside. Sir Douglas Froude was sitting in the garden room. A glass stood near him, and he was talking to 2 old friends.
Pull up a chair,
he said.
We'll order some more bottles.
John Osborne rang the bell, and they sat down.
How are you feeling now, sir?
He asked.
Not too bad, but the doctor was right. He said the drink would soon kill me, so I'll die soon, but you'll die too, and the doctor will too. I hear you won a race.
I didn't win it. I was second, but I've got a place in the Grand Prix.
Well, don't kill yourself. But it doesn't matter much if you do kill yourself. Somebody was saying they've got the sickness in Cape Town. Do you think that's true?
It's true enough, replied the younger man. They've had it for some days, but we still get radio signals from them.
So they've got it before us. So the whole of Africa is dead, or will be dead, before us.
The whole of Africa will be dead in about a week, Osborne replied. A place seems to die quickly at the end, so we can't be sure of exact times. If half the people are dead, the radio may not work, so nobody knows exactly. All their food's radioactive, of course.
I had some good times in Africa, said Sir Douglas. I was a young officer in the army then. Does this mean that we'll be the last?
Not quite the last, the younger man said. We'll be the last big city. They've got the sickness now in Buenos Aires and Montevideo. It's starting in Auckland. Tasmania may last 2 more weeks, and the South Island of New Zealand. The last people alive will be the Indians in Tierra del Fuego, but some animals will live longer.
Sir Douglas was angry. What do you mean? Will they live longer than we do?
John Osborne nodded.
They'll all die in the end, of course. There will be nothing alive at the end of next year.
Moira Davidson and Dwight were having lunch at a table in a corner. She noticed that he was anxious about something.
"What's troubling you, Dwight?" she asked.
"Nothing much, love. I've got another ship now. I'm in command of the whole Navy, and USS Swordfish is at Montevideo. The radioactivity is reaching those places now. I sent a signal to the captain 3 days ago. In his reply, he said that his ship could not come here. His men have girls there, and if they came here, they could do nothing."
"Did you tell him that he must stay there?"
"Yes, love. I want him to take Swordfish out to sea. He'll sink her in deep water. Have I done right or not? I don't know. There are some secret instruments on board, of course, but there will be nobody to see them. So now the U.S. Navy will have one ship again instead of two." They sat in silence for a minute. Then she said,
"Are you going to do the same thing with Scorpion?"
"I think so." Suddenly, she said,
"I've had an idea, Dwight."
"And what's that?"
"Take me up into the mountains. We could do some fishing."
"Don't you want to watch the Grand Prix?" he said. "John Osborne's racing in it."
"I don't want to see dead people. We'll soon see enough of them without the Grand Prix."
"I don't want to see the race either," he said. "John may die there. I'd prefer to do some fishing." He looked across the room. "I'm going home soon," he said. "I've been away a long time, but it's nearly finished now. I love my wife and she's at home. You understand that, don't you?"
"Yes,"
she said. She was silent
I understand
for a minute,
that.
and then went on.
"You've helped me a lot in these last weeks."
He smiled. "We could try that fishing equipment," he said. "We'll go by car. How far is it?"
"We'll need petrol for 800 kilometers,"
she said.
"but we don't need to worry about that. Father has a lot of petrol. We'll stay at a hotel that I know."
She had to go to a typing test that afternoon.
"I'm not very good," she said. "I can't do more than 50 words a minute."
She looked at her watch.
"I must go, Dwight. I don't want to be late for the test. I'll talk to Father about that petrol. He's busy on the farm and won't need his car."
"I could come to help on the farm," said Dwight. "There isn't much to do at Williamstown." She nodded.
"I'll tell him."
He had nothing to do at all. The ship was not going anywhere. Nearly all the men were away. No signals ever arrived now. The life of the ship was finished, though he did not like to think about that. His own life was finished too. He had nothing in the world. He walked into the town towards Osborne's garage. He saw some cars still in the shops, but the shop windows were dirty. The streets were dirty too. The streetcars were still running, but the whole city had a bad smell. It was raining a little, and the skies were grey. He reached the garage and saw John Osborne. He was working on the car with 2 others. Peter Holmes was there too. He had taken off the coat of his uniform. They all seemed quite happy.
"I thought you might come," said the scientist. "Do you want a job?"
"Yes," said Dwight.
This city gives me a pain.
Right. Help Bill Adams to put new tires on the wheels.
Dwight happily took off his coat.
You've got a lot of wheels here, he said.
11, I think. We got some from those other cars in the race.
The American started to work and turned to Peter Holmes.
He made you work too, he said.
I'll have to go soon, Holmes said. Jennifer's getting a tooth. She's been crying for 2 days. Imagine it, 2 days. He left half an hour later and got into his little car. He drove away down the road to Falmouth. At home, he found the house very quiet. "How's Jennifer?" he asked. Mary put her finger to her mouth.
She's
He
asleep,
went to look at the child.
she said.
"I don't think you need a doctor," he said. She said that she wanted several things for the garden. One of them was a garden seat. She did not live in the real world. Everyone was going to die soon, but she wanted a garden seat. They went into Melbourne together on the next day. She was shocked and sad at the state of the city.
"What's the matter?" she asked. "Everything's so dirty, and there's a terrible smell."
"The men have stopped cleaning the streets," he said.
"But why? There's no reason."
He did not try to explain it to her. When they bought things, they did not need to pay for them. "We're closing the shop tonight," one man said. "There are only 2 more weeks of life." Mary hated it all and wanted to go home.
"Everything smells," she said.
"Don't you want to stay for lunch?" he asked. She shook her head.
"I would rather go home now. We can have lunch there."
They went home, and she was happier there. There was no smell at home. Everything was clean.
"I don't want to go to Melbourne again, Peter," she said. "How long have we got now?"
"About 2 weeks. But it doesn't happen suddenly. People start to get ill. But not all on the same day. Everybody gets it in the end, though. You may get better for a short time, but it comes back. But don't be unhappy. There's nothing new about death." Dwight Towers spent some days with the Davidsons. He did some work on the farm, but the farmer was a worried man. He was anxious about his animals. He would die before them, and then what would they do? "It really is a problem," he said. Dwight went back to Williamstown on Tuesday morning. He had a talk with the chief sailor. 2 men were absent. Another had died in a street fight. 11 men had returned drunk. Dwight found all this very difficult. Punishing them now was useless. But he spoke to them angrily. He told them that they must still follow orders. On the next day, one of the men returned late. He tore the man's uniform off and sent him out through the gates. After that, he had no more trouble of that kind. On Friday morning, he went to the garage. John Osborne's car looked ready for the Grand Prix. "I'm going up into the mountains," Dwight said. "I'm sorry that I won't see you win tomorrow. I'm going fishing." The scientist nodded.
"Moira told me. Catch a lot of fish."
Then he added something in a low voice.
"Tomorrow's the end of it all for me."
He looked at his car almost happily. "I hope that's not true," said Dwight. "I wanted you to win."
"The car could win," but I'm not a good driver.
Dwight went back to his car and took the road to Harkaway. He watched the houses when he went past them. Soon they would be empty, he thought. The cats and dogs would still be alive, but all the people would be dead. After about 5 years, the radioactivity would begin to pass away. People could live again in the houses, but there would be no people then. He reached Harkaway in the middle of the morning. Moira was ready, and they drove away before lunch. They went in Mr. Davidson's Ford, and Moira drove. She knew the way better than Dwight. They went through the Dandenong Mountains and had lunch near Lilydale. They reached their hotel before dark. There were a lot of cars there, and the hotel was very busy. They met other men there who wanted to fish. The next day, they managed to catch a few fish, but they quite forgot the Grand Prix. They heard the radio news later at the hotel. John Osborne had won the Grand Prix.
I'm glad he won,
the girl said. She looked around at the calm water, the long shadows, the beautiful evening light.
Can you believe that we shan't see all this again?
I'm going home, he said quietly. This is a fine country, and I've liked it here, but it's not my country, and now I'm going back to my own place and my own people. I like it in Australia well enough, but I'm glad to be going home to Connecticut.
Will you tell Sharon about me?
She asked. Sure, he said. She may know already.
What will you tell her?
She looked down at the ground. Lots of things, he said quietly. I'll tell her that you changed a bad time into a good time for me. You knew that I could give you nothing, but you helped me. I'll tell her that you sent me back to her. I'll say that you stopped me being drunk every day. I'll tell her that you kept me for her. She stood up.
We must go back to the hotel, she said. But Sharon won't believe all that.
She'll believe it, he said, because it's all true. Are you glad we came here, love? She nodded.
I've been happy all day, Dwight.
I've been happy too, he said. But we should go home tomorrow. Things will be happening down there.
Bad things?
Yes, he answered. I didn't want to make the trip bad for you, so I didn't say anything. But the radiation sickness has reached Melbourne. John Osborne told me before we came away. There must be more now. Chapter 9. The End of It All. On Tuesday morning, Peter Holmes drove into Melbourne. Dwight Towers had telephoned him, and they were going to meet at the office of the first naval member. The radio had broadcast the news about radiation sickness in Melbourne. Mary Holmes did not want him to go. I've got to go, he said. I'll come straight back. He drove to the city in deep thought. It was not days now. It was hours. He went into the Navy Department, but there were not many people there. He found Dwight Towers in uniform and alone. The door of the Admiral's office opened, and Sir David Hartman stood there. His face was serious. "Come in, gentlemen," he said. In the office, Towers said, "It seems I'm in command of the U.S. Navy now. I have to tell you that I'm taking my ship away. She will no longer be under Australian command. I can't give you the exact date, but I'm leaving soon. The Admiral nodded. Can I just go? Dwight asked. Is there nothing more to do? Nothing. Do you expect to return? No, sir. I'm going to sink my ship outside Waratah Bay. When will you go? Peter asked quietly. I don't know. 7 of the men have the sickness now. Perhaps we'll go on Saturday. How many are going with you? 10. I am the 11th. Are you feeling well yourself? Peter said. Dwight smiled. I thought I was, but now I just don't know. I won't want any lunch today. How are you feeling? I'm all right. And Mary too, I think. Go back to her now. Will I see you again, sir? I don't think you will, said the captain. I'm going home now. I'm going to Mystic in Connecticut. I'm glad to go. The Admiral left the room to be sick. He looked ill when he came back. He thanked Dwight Towers for their work together. We have always enjoyed working with the Americans, he said, particularly on the sea. But this is the end of it. He held out his hand. John Osborne's old mother was dying. He had brought a doctor for her, but the doctor had not returned after the first visit. She was mainly sad about her little dog. I should go to the office, Mother, Osborne said. Will you be all right? I'll be back before lunch. I'll be quite all right now, dear, she said. She held out her arms. Give me a kiss before you go. He kissed the old face, and she lay back in the bed, smiling. There was nobody at his office, but a report was lying on his desk. It was the usual report about radiation sickness. Half the people in Melbourne were now sick. 7 others were reported sick in Hobart, Tasmania. There were also 3 in Christchurch, New Zealand. The report was shorter than usual. He walked through the empty offices. This part of his life was coming to an end. He did not stay very long. The thought of his sick mother upset him. He went out and caught one of the few streetcars that was still running. Nobody paid now for travelling on a streetcar. In Malvern, he got off the streetcar and tried to find some milk. His mother's dog needed some, but he did not find any. He went home and found his mother dead in bed. On the table, by her side, there was a note. It was written in pencil. There was also a glass of water, and one of the little red boxes. He read the note. It said, My dear son, I must not make the last days of your life worse. I have finished my own life, and I do not want to live any longer. Just close the door and leave me in my own room. I shall be quite all right. I am so very glad that you won your race. My very dearest love, Mother. A few tears ran down his face, but only a few. Mother had always been right, and now she was right again. He put the dog in the garden and went to the chemist's shop. There was a girl there, and she gave him one of the red boxes. Everybody wants these, she said, smiling. He smiled back at her and left the shop. He went home and gave the dog a good dinner. Then he packed his clothes in a case and took out the needle. The dog was lying on the floor, half asleep. He pushed the needle under the dog's skin. The dog was soon dead, and John Osborne carried it to his mother's room. He put it down next to the bed and went out. He shut the door and left the house. Tuesday was a bad day for Peter and Mary Holmes. At about 7 o'clock, the baby was sick. It was raining and cold outside. They were ill themselves.
"Is this it, Peter?"
Mary said. "I think so. Everybody seems to be getting it." She was feeling terrible, and now she wanted to be sick. She went quietly to the bathroom. Peter was making tea in the kitchen. He was hot, and then suddenly cold again. He had to go outside, and he was sick near the garage. He felt a bit better when he came back into the house. He made some tea and took it to the bedroom. "Come and have some tea, dear," he called. She noticed his wet clothes.
"Oh," she said, "have you been outside, Peter?"
"I've just been sick," he said. He could not hide it any longer.
"Oh, Peter, so have I. It must be that meat we had for supper."
He shook his head.
"Do you think this is it?" she asked. "Is this the end?"
"I think so," he said. "It's hard to be sure, of course." She left him and went to the window. She looked out at the garden she loved. Then she went to the kitchen.
"I'll make some breakfast," she said. "Perhaps we can eat some."
He heard her singing in the kitchen, and he was very surprised. When he went there, he saw tears on her face. He took her in his arms.
"I'm glad that we're going together," she said. "I didn't want to leave you, and I didn't want you to leave Jennifer and me. But together it isn't so bad. Aren't we lucky?"
John Osborne went to have a last look at his Ferrari. He got into the small seat and put his hands on the wheel. He felt very ill. He knew that he could never drive again. He was very comfortable in the little car. Why must he live any longer? This was the right place. He wanted to die here. He took out his little red box and put the 2 tablets into his mouth. Although Mary Holmes felt very ill, she had to look after Jennifer. The baby seemed worse. Peter himself felt a bit better, but he did not tell his wife. He knew that he was soon going to die like everybody else. He made a hot drink for Mary. They looked at the little baby.
"I believe she's dying, Peter,"
Mary said. She touched the little face. He put his arm round her shoulder. "So am I," he said quietly, "and so are you. Nobody has got very long now." They had their hot drinks together.
"Why did all this happen to us?" she asked. "Was it because Russia and China started fighting?"
He nodded. "That's the reason," he said. "But other countries did things too. It all started with Albania."
"Could anything have stopped it?"
"I don't know. You just can't stop some crazy things. If one country drops a cobalt bomb on another, what happens? What can we do about it? Newspapers could help. They could stop telling lies. but they aren't sensible enough. She suddenly rushed away to the bathroom and was sick. He looked down at his baby. She was terribly ill. He was not feeling so ill himself, but he must not show it. He knew that he could not live on after Mary. He could do nothing without her. He could not go anywhere. He wanted to stay with his family. Mary called him from the bathroom, and he brought her back to the fire. She was shaking badly.
"There's no hope at all, is there?"
she said. He shook his head.
"I think I want to end it tonight,"
she said.
"It'll be worse tomorrow. I'll go tonight and take Jennifer with me. Is that too terrible for you? You'll be alone."
He kissed her. "I think you're very sensible," he said. "I'll come too." She touched his hand.
"What must do, Peter?"
"Get into bed and keep warm. I'll bring Jennifer into the bedroom. Then I'll shut the house and bring you a hot drink. Then we'll die in bed with a tablet. It's just like a headache tablet."
"Remember to turn off the electricity,"
she said.
"We don't want to burn the house down."
"I'll do that," he said. She looked at him with tears in her eyes.
"Will you do that thing to Jennifer? That terrible thing, Peter?"
He touched her hair gently. "Don't worry," he said. "I'll do that." That evening, Dwight Towers telephoned Moira Davidson. "How are things with you, love?" he said.
"Bad,"
she said.
"We're all just about finished. How are you?"
"I want to say goodbye, love. I'm taking Scorpion out tomorrow to sink her."
"You won't come back?"
"No, I won't come back. We've just got this last job, and then we've finished." He paused. "I called to thank you for the last 6 months. You've helped me a lot."
"And you've helped me, Dwight. Can I come to watch you go?"
"Sure," he said, "but we can't wait. The men are weak now, and they'll be weaker tomorrow. We're leaving at 8 o'clock.
"I'll be there,"
she said. He gave her some messages for her father and mother. She went to find them. They were in bed, and she told them about the submarine.
"I'll be back before dinner,"
she said.
"He has been a good friend to you,"
her mother said.
"Go and say goodbye, then come back here. But if we're not here, you'll understand."
She kissed them both and went to bed herself. In the morning she had a hot bath. Then she looked into her parents' room. Her mother smiled at her, but her father seemed to be asleep. She went out to the car and drove away towards Melbourne. The city was empty. She soon reached the aircraft carrier. Nobody stopped her, and she walked into the ship. She saw a man who was going down to the submarine.
"Please ask Commander Towers if he can come up,"
she said. "Sure, lady," he replied. "I'll ask him right now." Dwight soon appeared. He was looking very ill, she thought. "How are things at home, Moira?" he asked gently.
"Bad."
She paused for a moment.
"May I come with you in the submarine, Dwight?"
"I'm sorry," he said. "This is a U.S. submarine. I can't take you. It's not allowed. We must all die in our own way." I'm sorry."
"That's all right,"
she said. He took her in his arms and kissed her.
"What time are you leaving?"
she said. "Very soon. In about 5 minutes. 2 hours and 10 minutes after that, we'll sink her."
"I'll think of you then,"
she said. "Thanks for everything," he said. Then he turned away and went down to the submarine. She watched while Dwight took the submarine out. It began to rain a little. Then all the men went down inside. Dwight stayed and waved to her. She waved back, and then the submarine sailed out of sight. She turned away from the port and looked at her watch. It was 3 minutes past 8. At 10 minutes past 10, Dwight planned to be on his way home. He was going to the home that he loved so well. There was nothing now for her at her own home, only animals and sad memories. Dwight was going down 20 kilometers from here, only 20 kilometers. She hurried away, through the grey and silent aircraft carrier. She started the car and drove it at 110 kilometers an hour. She drove towards Geelong, and suddenly had to stop near Corio. She felt very ill, but after a time she was able to go on. She left Geelong and took the road to Barwon Heads. She had been along this road when she was a child. She turned right at the bridge. It was 20 minutes to 10. The sea lay before her, grey and rough. She got out of the car, and then she saw the submarine. She knew that Dwight was there. He could not see her, but she waved to him. Then she got back into the car because the wind was cold. She was feeling very ill now. She watched the low grey shape until she could see it no more. This was the end of it. The very end. It was 1 minute past 10. She took the red box out of her bag and held the tablets in her hand. She suddenly felt worse. At 10 minutes past 10, she said,
"Dwight, if you're on your way already, wait for me."
Then she put the tablets into her mouth.